If lately you feel that your digestion is not the same as it used to be, that your energy drops easily, or that your body no longer responds to food the way it once did, it is possible that you have stopped including certain natural foods that for centuries helped strengthen the body. Today I want to show you how to bring back some of those forgotten foods that can help nourish your body in a simple and effective way. I am Dr. Gabriel Mena, and in this video you will discover several traditional foods that were part of daily nutrition for generations and that modern science is now studying again with great interest. Long before laboratories existed, before supplements in capsules appeared, and long before anyone talked about superfoods, ancient texts were already mentioning specific foods used to strengthen the body. These were not vague suggestions. They were clear recommendations that today, through clinical studies, biochemical analysis, and controlled trials, modern science is beginning to understand more deeply. In this journey, I will introduce you to a series of foods that appear in ancient dietary traditions and that today have been researched for their potential to help reduce inflammation, support heart health, strengthen the digestive system, and contribute to overall well-being. Stay until the end because some of these foods were so valuable in ancient times that they were even used as a form of exchange between peoples. And today specialists are still surprised as they continue studying their effects on the human body. Before we continue, if you want to learn in a simple way how to care for your health with natural habits and real foods, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. That way you will not miss upcoming videos where we share clear and practical information to help improve your well-being. Let's go straight to the first of these foods. Number 1. Garlic. A food so valued in ancient times that it appears in historical accounts when people remembered with nostalgia the foods they used to eat. And when you understand what garlic can offer the body, that appreciation begins to make a lot of sense. Garlic is one of the most studied foods in modern nutrition. When it is crushed or chopped, a compound called allicin forms. Researchers have studied this compound for years because of its ability to act against different microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and even some parasites. Several clinical studies have observed that people who consume garlic regularly may experience fewer episodes of common colds or respiratory infections. Research has also shown that regular consumption can help maintain healthy levels of blood pressure and LDL cholesterol. It has also been observed that garlic may contribute to reducing platelet aggregation and supporting certain liver functions. In my medical practice, I remember a 62-year-old patient who used to tell me he avoided garlic because he thought it only served to flavor food. When we began reviewing his diet, I suggested he start adding small amounts of fresh garlic to his daily meals. It was not a radical or complicated change. He simply started including it in salads and homemade dishes. After some time, he told me he noticed better digestion and more energy. Sometimes the simplest changes can have the greatest impact. Fresh garlic, especially when crushed and allowed to rest for a few minutes before eating it, allows more allicin to form. This detail is important because the compound is sensitive to heat and can decrease during cooking. That is why many culinary traditions use garlic both raw in dressings and cooked in dishes, combining flavor and nutritional benefit. Number 2. Lentils. One of the oldest and most nourishing foods that has accompanied humanity for thousands of years. In many cultures, they were not considered humble food, but rather an essential source of energy and nutrition for those who needed lasting strength. Lentils are one of the most complete plant sources of protein. One cooked cup can provide around 18 grams of protein, along with iron, folate, zinc, magnesium, and potassium. That is why for centuries they were a common food among workers, travelers, and communities that needed foods capable of providing fullness and sustained energy. Modern nutritional science confirms something interesting. Although they contain carbohydrates, lentils have a relatively low glycemic index. This means they release energy gradually in the body. Their high fiber content also supports intestinal health and helps maintain healthy cholesterol levels. Population studies have observed something striking. Many communities known for higher levels of longevity share a common dietary habit. They regularly consume legumes, especially lentils, chickpeas, or beans. Traditional preparation methods also make sense. In many cultures, lentils were soaked before cooking and then slowly prepared with herbs and spices such as cumin or coriander. This process not only improves flavor but also helps reduce natural compounds like phytic acid that can interfere with the absorption of certain minerals. Number 3. Dates. In ancient times, if someone had to travel long distances across desert regions, they needed foods that were energy-dense, easy to carry, and able to last for long periods. Dates fulfilled that role perfectly. They are rich in natural sugars such as glucose and fructose, which provide quick energy to the body. But unlike refined sugar, dates come packaged with fiber, minerals such as magnesium, potassium, copper, and manganese, as well as B-complex vitamins. Some studies suggest their consumption may contribute to improving certain mineral levels in the body and supporting bone health. They have also been studied for their possible benefits during pregnancy. Research has observed that women who consumed dates during the final weeks before delivery sometimes experienced smoother labor compared to other groups. The traditional way to consume them is very simple. 3 or 4 dates can provide an excellent source of natural energy. In many cultures, they are also used as a natural sweetener or to break periods of fasting because the body absorbs them quickly and gently. Number 4. Coriander. This plant, known for its distinctive aroma, has been used both in cooking and in traditional medicine for thousands of years. Coriander seeds have even been found in ancient tombs, indicating how highly valued they were. Across different cultures, it has been used to support digestion, relieve intestinal discomfort, and promote a sense of calm. Recent research has analyzed some of its natural compounds, such as linalool and certain flavonoids, which show anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Some preliminary studies have also explored its potential role in detoxification processes, particularly in helping the body mobilize certain heavy metals. Although this area continues to be studied, its traditional use for digestive support is well documented. Tea prepared with coriander seeds has been used for centuries to relieve gas, bloating, and digestive discomfort. The fresh leaves, meanwhile, are widely used in cooking as an aromatic ingredient that also provides beneficial compounds. Number 5. Goat's milk. For centuries, it was one of the most common sources of milk in many regions. Unlike highly processed modern cow's milk, goat's milk has characteristics that many people find easier to digest. Its fat globules are smaller and its protein structure is different. The predominant protein is A2 casein, which some researchers believe may be more compatible with the human digestive system than the A1 casein found in much commercial cow's milk. When consumed in traditional forms such as yogurt or kefir, goat's milk can also provide beneficial bacteria that support gut health. Several studies have observed that some individuals who experience digestive discomfort with cow's milk tolerate goat's milk better. It also contains medium-chain fatty acids such as caprylic acid, which has been studied for its antimicrobial properties. Number 6. Barley. This humble grain accompanied entire communities for centuries. It was everyday food for workers, travelers, and people who needed nourishing and resilient foods. Barley is particularly rich in beta-glucans, a type of soluble fiber widely studied for its ability to help lower cholesterol and support blood sugar control. This fiber forms a gel-like substance in the intestine that slows glucose absorption and supports digestive health. Research has observed that barley can have a very positive impact on blood sugar levels after meals, sometimes comparable or even superior to other grains known for their heart health benefits. Traditionally, it was prepared in simple ways, boiled in water like a cereal or ground to make flatbreads. Number 7. Grapes. This fruit has been part of human diets for thousands of years and continues to attract strong scientific interest today. Grapes, especially when eaten with their skin, contain natural compounds called polyphenol, including resveratrol, quercetin, and anthocyanins. These compounds have been studied for their relationship with cardiovascular health, inflammation, and cellular aging processes. Resveratrol in particular has captured scientists' attention because it may activate certain proteins related to cellular repair. For this reason, it has been one of the most researched compounds in longevity studies over recent decades. Eating fresh grapes allows you to benefit not only from these compounds but also from fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, and potassium. In many cultures, raisins were also consumed throughout the year as a practical and long-lasting source of energy. And what is interesting is that many of these foods are still easily available today. They are not exclusive or expensive products. They are simple foods that for generations were part of daily life and that we have slowly set aside without even realizing it. If you feel your energy is not what it used to be, if digestion has become heavier, or if your body seems to be asking for something you cannot quite identify, the answer is often to return to natural foods that have supported human health for centuries. Let's continue this journey, because there are still several surprising foods that can help strengthen your body in a simple and natural way. Number 8. Almonds, a small food but extraordinarily powerful. In many ancient traditions, the almond tree symbolized vigilance and renewal because it is one of the first trees to bloom when winter ends. Interestingly, that symbolism aligns with what we now know about its nutritional value. Almonds are among the most nutrient-dense foods available. Just a small handful can provide a significant amount of vitamin E, especially in the form of alpha-tocopherol, an antioxidant that helps protect our cells from oxidative damage. They are also rich in magnesium, a mineral involved in more than 300 reactions in the human body. Many people today have low magnesium levels without realizing it. Almonds also provide beneficial monounsaturated fats, plant protein, calcium, and fiber, making them a very complete food that the body can use efficiently. Scientific research has observed that regular almond consumption can help maintain healthy LDL cholesterol levels, reduce blood sugar spikes after meals, and support a more diverse gut microbiota. It has also been associated with better body weight control when consumed in moderate amounts. In my practice, I remember a 58-year-old patient who struggled with strong cravings for sweets in the middle of the afternoon. I suggested something very simple: always keep a small handful of natural almonds in her purse. After a few weeks, she told me that small change helped her feel fuller and avoid many cravings. Sometimes a simple food can make a remarkable difference. Traditionally, almonds were eaten raw or lightly roasted. They were also used to prepare pastes, plant-based drinks, and almond oil, which had both culinary and skincare uses. Number 9. Figs. An extraordinary fruit that for centuries was considered almost medicinal. Ancient stories even mention the use of a paste made from figs applied to severe skin lesions to support recovery. Interestingly, modern science is beginning to understand why that may have worked. Figs contain compounds such as phycin, an enzyme that helps break down damaged tissue and may support healing processes. They also contain substances with antimicrobial properties that can help protect against certain infections. Beyond their external use, figs are also very valuable nutritionally. They are particularly rich in soluble fiber, especially pectin, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria. They also contain important minerals such as magnesium, potassium, and calcium, along with B-group vitamins. In ancient times, when vitamin supplements did not exist, figs played an important role in providing essential nutrients. They were eaten fresh during their season and dried during the rest of the year, allowing a consistent source of energy and minerals. Number 10. Cumin, a spice valued for thousands of years both for its flavor and digestive properties. In many cultures, it was considered so valuable that it even became part of trade exchanges. Cumin contains a compound called cuminaldehyde that has demonstrated antimicrobial effects against various microorganisms. Modern research has also observed that it may help improve insulin sensitivity and support blood sugar regulation in people with type 2 diabetes. Another interesting feature of cumin is its ability to stimulate bile production and digestive enzyme activity. This can help reduce the feeling of heaviness after meals and improve nutrient absorption. It also provides significant amounts of iron, which is particularly important for people who may be deficient in this mineral. Traditionally, it is used very simply: toasted or ground seeds added to stews, soups, breads, or spice blends. It has also been prepared as an infusion to relieve digestive discomfort. Number 11. Onions, one of the most common foods in traditional cooking and now known to have extraordinary nutritional value. For centuries, onions were a staple food for both workers and families. Onions are one of the richest natural sources of quercetin, a polyphenol with antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and antihistamine properties. Various studies have observed that this compound may help maintain healthy blood pressure levels and reduce certain inflammatory processes. Onions also contain prebiotic fibers known as inulin-type fructans. These fibers feed beneficial intestinal bacteria, especially strains such as Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus that play a key role in digestive health. The sulfur compounds found in onions also support the body's natural detoxification processes by stimulating certain liver enzymes responsible for processing toxins. In many culinary traditions, onions were used in multiple ways: raw in salads, pickled, cooked in stews, or even in broths given to people recovering from illness to help them regain strength. Number 12. Fish, one of the most important protein sources in many coastal cultures for thousands of years. It is no coincidence that modern nutrition science considers it one of the most beneficial foods for health. Fatty fish such as sardines or anchovies are particularly rich in omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. These are essential nutrients that the human body cannot produce on its own and must obtain from food. DHA is a key component of brain cell membranes, while EPA has powerful anti-inflammatory effects throughout the body. Scientific research on omega-3s is among the strongest in the field of nutrition. Regular fish consumption has been associated with lower risk of cardiovascular disease, slower cognitive decline with aging, and a general reduction in inflammatory processes. Traditionally, fish was prepared in very simple ways, grilled or cooked over fire, without industrial processing or deep frying that could damage its beneficial fats. Number 13. Ancient grains, especially varieties such as spelt. There is an important difference here that many people do not realize. The grains consumed centuries ago are not exactly the same as those used in most modern products. Ancient varieties had different genetic and nutritional structures. Spelt, for example, contains a type of gluten that some people find easier to digest compared to highly modified modern wheat. It also tends to contain more protein, higher levels of antioxidants, and nutrients such as beta-carotene, lutein, and riboflavin. Another important difference was in preparation methods. Traditionally, bread was made using long fermentation with sourdough. This process not only improved flavor but also helped break down compounds that can make digestion more difficult while enhancing mineral absorption. Number 14. Raw honey, one of the most fascinating natural foods that exist. For centuries, it has been considered a source of energy, a natural remedy, and a food capable of lasting for very long periods. Unprocessed honey has remarkable antimicrobial properties. When it comes into contact with certain tissues, it can generate small amounts of hydrogen peroxide, helping combat bacteria. It also has a naturally acidic pH and contains proteins with antimicrobial activity. Some specialized types of honey are even used today in hospitals to treat wounds because of their ability to promote healing and prevent infection. However, there is one very important detail: honey should be raw or minimally processed. When it is exposed to high temperatures during industrial processing, many of its enzymes and beneficial compounds can be degraded. Traditionally, honey was used in many ways: applied directly to wounds, mixed with warm water and lemon to soothe the throat, or simply consumed as a natural source of energy. Number 15. Pistachios, a nut highly valued since ancient times. Historical accounts even mention them as precious gifts offered to honor important people. Today we know pistachios are particularly rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids associated with eye health and protection against conditions such as macular degeneration. They also contain a good amount of potassium, plant protein, and prebiotic fiber that supports the growth of beneficial gut bacteria. Several studies have observed that regular pistachio consumption may help improve blood sugar control, support healthy cholesterol levels, and reduce certain inflammatory markers. Number 16. Hyssop, an aromatic plant that for centuries was used in traditional practices related to cleansing and health care. When researchers began analyzing its components, they found substances such as carvacrol and thymol, compounds also present in plants like oregano and thyme and known for their antimicrobial properties. Studies have shown that hyssop has antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal activity. It also has expectorant effects that may help clear the respiratory tract and relieve mucus buildup. For this reason, it has traditionally been used as an infusion to support respiratory health, especially in cases of cough or bronchitis. Number 17. Pomegranate, a fruit that for centuries has symbolized abundance and vitality. And it is no coincidence that modern scientific research recognizes it as one of the foods with the highest concentration of natural antioxidants. In the next section, we will explore why this fruit has captured so much interest among researchers and what it can truly do for your health. If you feel that your body no longer responds as it once did, if inflammation appears more easily, if blood pressure rises, if digestion becomes slower, or if you simply lack vitality, the solution may not be something complicated. Often the answer is returning to certain natural foods that have helped people remain strong and healthy for thousands of years. That is exactly what we are exploring today, ancient foods whose wisdom modern science is now beginning to confirm. Now we arrive at food number 17, and I must say it is one of the most fascinating on this entire list, the pomegranate. In the ancient world, this fruit held extraordinary value. It was not just food. It symbolized life, abundance, and prosperity. It was so appreciated that in some regions rulers even used it as part of valuable exchanges. Ancient writings mention it repeatedly, decorating temples, appearing in sculptures, and representing fertility, beauty, and renewal. For example, in the Temple of King Solomon, it is said that around 200 pomegranates were carved into the pillars. This was not simple decoration. It was a way of expressing what this fruit meant to that culture. Interestingly, modern science is also deeply fascinated by it. The pomegranate, whose scientific name is Punica granatum, contains a very special compound called punicalagin. This compound is rarely found elsewhere in nature. When consumed, our intestines transform it into substances known as urolithins, which have shown strong anti-inflammatory effects and are even being studied for their potential role in preventing certain diseases. Various clinical trials have observed that pomegranate juice may help lower blood pressure, reduce oxidation of LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, improve arterial health, and reduce inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein. Both the juice and the small seeds are packed with polyphenol, natural antioxidants in concentrations that can even exceed those found in red wine, green tea, and blueberries. But here is something many people do not know. The part of the pomegranate that most people throw away, the peel, actually contains even higher concentrations of beneficial compounds. For centuries in many parts of the Middle East, traditional healers prepared infusions using dried pomegranate peel to treat diarrhea, intestinal infections, and digestive inflammation. The traditional way to consume pomegranate is simple: eat the fresh seeds or drink freshly squeezed juice. And if someone wants to make greater use of its properties, the peel can be dried and prepared as a warm infusion. It is true that pomegranates require patience. Extracting the seeds one by one takes time. But perhaps there is a lesson there. Many of the most valuable things require a little effort. Now let us move to number 18, wine, but in moderation. This is an important topic that requires balance. Ancient texts do not praise wine without limits. In fact, they clearly warn about the dangers of excess. However, when used wisely and moderately, wine was considered part of everyday medicine. One ancient passage recommends using a little wine for stomach problems. In another story, the Good Samaritan pours wine on wounds before bandaging an injured man. This was not metaphor. Wine, especially when diluted with water, which was the usual way people consumed it in ancient times, has genuine antimicrobial properties. Modern studies have shown that wine in moderate concentrations can help eliminate certain intestinal pathogens such as E. coli or salmonella, sometimes even more effectively than the same amount of pure alcohol. In times when drinking water was not always safe, mixing a small amount of wine with water could offer protection. In addition, red wine contains well-studied polyphenol, including resveratrol and proanthocyanidins found in grape skins. Scientists have studied these compounds for decades in relation to cardiovascular health. There is even what some researchers call the French paradox: populations that consume relatively rich diets yet show lower rates of heart disease. One possible explanation is moderate red wine consumption. But it is important to emphasize something: the key is always moderation. a small glass of quality red wine with a meal, within the context of a diet based on natural foods. In this case, the context in which it is consumed is just as important as the food itself. Now let us move to number 19, olive oil. If we had to choose one food that represents the ancient world, it might very well be this one. Olive oil was almost everything for those civilizations. It was food, fuel for lamps, medicine, and even a sacred substance used in rituals. Ancient texts mention it more than 140 times. Kings were anointed with it. Wounds were treated with it. Even in the well-known story of the Good Samaritan, oil and wine are used to help an injured man. This was not random. Today we know that extra virgin olive oil is one of the most studied foods in modern nutrition. The famous Mediterranean diet, which has olive oil as its cornerstone, has been analyzed in hundreds of scientific studies. Again and again the results show the same pattern: lower risk of heart disease, reduced inflammation, slower cognitive decline with age, and a general reduction in overall mortality. One of the most interesting compounds in olive oil is called oleocanthal. This polyphenol has anti-inflammatory effects that function in a way very similar to ibuprofen. However, there is a key detail. The olive oil people consumed centuries ago was not the highly refined product often found in supermarkets today. It was cold-pressed oil, obtained directly from olives without aggressive industrial processing. A living food loaded with antioxidants, vitamin E, and healthy monounsaturated fats that the body can easily use. Traditionally, it was consumed very simply: a small spoonful daily, used generously in cooking, and even applied to the skin to support healing. In my practice, I remember a 66-year-old patient who replaced many of the fats in his diet with extra virgin olive oil. Months later, when we reviewed his lab results, his cholesterol levels had improved noticeably. Sometimes small changes produce very significant results. And now we arrive at number 20, the final food on this list, and perhaps one of the most surprising: carob. Ancient stories say that John the Baptist lived in the desert eating locusts and wild honey. For centuries people believed those locusts were insects. But many scholars believe the reference actually describes the pods of the carob tree, known in some places as St. John's bread. Carob trees grow naturally in arid regions of the Middle East, especially near the Judean desert. Their sweet pods, which resemble large beans, have sustained desert travelers for thousands of years. When combined with honey, they create a surprisingly complete source of energy. Carob contains about 50% natural sugars, but unlike refined sugar, it comes packaged with a huge amount of fiber. In fact, nearly 40% of its dry weight is dietary fiber. This fiber, mostly insoluble, helps regulate intestinal function. Traditionally, it has been used both to treat constipation and to control diarrhea. Carob also provides important minerals such as calcium, iron, potassium, and magnesium. It is naturally gluten-free and contains no caffeine or other stimulants. What truly makes carob remarkable, however, are compounds called condensed tannins or proanthocyanidins. These compounds have antimicrobial effects and help combat intestinal pathogens. Some studies have shown that carob powder may be effective against intestinal viruses that particularly affect children. They also slow the digestion of sugars, allowing energy to be released more gradually and steadily. If that ancient diet truly included carob and honey, it was not a poor diet. It was a powerful combination of natural nutrients. Sometimes we think modern life has discovered everything. But the truth is that many answers have existed in nature for thousands of years. And this is the message I want you to take from this video. The people who lived in those times did not have laboratories or advanced technology, but they were careful observers. They paid attention to which foods strengthened the body, which helped them heal, and which gave them energy. They built their culture, agriculture, and traditions around those observations. Today, through clinical studies, biochemical analysis, and decades of research, modern science is reaching many of the same conclusions. Olive oil helps reduce inflammation. Honey fights bacteria. Barley helps lower cholesterol. Garlic helps fight infections. Almonds support heart health. Ancient wisdom was not wrong. It simply did not yet have the tools to explain the mechanisms. But the results, they already knew them. Now I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me which of these 20 foods surprised you the most. Maybe you are part of the medicinal herbs group, or perhaps you are more interested in ancient grains, fruits, or nuts. I read many of your comments personally, and it is always enriching to learn about your experiences. If this video helped you discover that ancestral wisdom and modern science often speak the same language, share it with someone who also wants to improve their health naturally. And if you are not yet part of this community, subscribe to the Dr. Gabriel Mena channel, activate the notification bell, and join us. Every day we publish new videos with clear and practical information designed to help you care for your health with simple habits. Before we say goodbye, I would like to invite you to do something simple but meaningful. Take a moment to thank God for life, for your body, for each new day, and for the opportunity to learn how to take better care of yourself. Knowledge is also a blessing when we use it to live with greater health, awareness, and gratitude. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you today. Here on the Dr. Gabriel Mena channel, we are truly happy to contribute, even in a small way, to helping you live with better well-being, healthier habits, and a fuller life. Tomorrow we will have a new video that will surely help you continue caring for your health naturally. Here you will always find information designed for you and for the people you love. I send you a warm embrace, and I will see you in the next video.